Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Tonight we're debuting a brand new game on the channel that I'm hoping is going to turn into an episodic series as we play Folklore, the Affliction by Greenbrier Games. This one is kind of an interesting game because it's an adventure board game with a very RPG heavy vibe to it. Now, you guys know I've been into my RPGs, and this one's got a little bit of a backstory to it. So, back when I was first getting into tabletop gaming, I played this with one of my game groups at the time. This was back in 2019, actually, pre-COVID. I had played this game with one of my groups. It looked interesting, so I grabbed it. I initially bounced off of it, though, because there was a lot to go through with setup, and I think I might have been a little bit salty with how my first solo experience went. But I decided to grab it again since it did look interesting, and as many of you guys know, I do have a board game recommendation engine that I've trained up through ChatGPT, and this was a game that was on that engine's radar. So I decided, what the hell, I'll grab it, and here we are. So it's a campaign-focused game, very narrative-driven, which you guys know I've made no bones about the fact that I love my narrative-driven games. So we're going to give this one another go. And as part of the unboxing for this one, we're going to go through, we actually had the story journal in here as well, so we're going to go through everything. We're going to go through Everything Changes, the first adventure. So it starts off, we've got our map of the Folklore world up here. This is, as I send it flying, I'm trying to bring it up to show you. This is our group marker. So we are actually starting at the Church of the Crossroads, which is way down here. So that's what we're doing here. I've already followed setup on this one. So let's introduce our characters without tripping over the power pack that I'm using instead of the battery. So we've got, first up, as I'm sending a character sheet flying, paper's a lot easier to recover from sending flying than the power pack would be. So we've got our telepath, a talented mentalist who can access unique and powerful psychic abilities. She has long hidden her talents from family and friends, fearing that she would be outcast as a freak. But after seeing visions in her mind's eye, that of evil spreading across the land, she realized that her gifts could help in staunching the flow of corruption. And you guys know two of my main characters in some of my MMO worlds are characters by the name of Nyricia and Elwina. I'll spell those out for you in chat. So, telepath is going to be Nyricia. Help if I can type properly. There we go. So that's the telepath, and her focus that we've chosen is telekinetic. You're strong. There we go. Light would be helpful. You are strong in the manipulation of matter and moving objects with your thoughts. You are fond of your ability to throw another being with the force of your mind. Use one less power point when using the psychokinesis ability. Receive +1 range with thrown weapons. And then her starting ability, she starts off with psychokinesis. Psychic ability, push to a target in any direction. You may spend 3 power points to push 4 instead. I forget what the 2 is. There's probably something in the rulebook that will explain what that is for on an ability card. Okay, that's the PowerPoint cost, so it's going to cost us 2 power points. And then that's a ranged ability. We can use that once per round. Her other starting ability is Psychic Implosion, Telepath. Crush the brain matter of a foe. Inflict 1d4 damage and force them to lose a turn on a d6 6+. Ignores absorption. In a skirmish, drop a skirmish counter by 1. Uses 1 power point and once per round. Starting item is Quartz Lantern. I believe that's the number of charges for it. Acts as a light source. Psychic keyword required. It's a weapon. Range damage. One-handed weapon does d4 +1 damage, and we can sell it for 10 coins. Additionally, both of our characters are going to start off with a bandage, which a bandage heals... I believe a bandage heals, I want to say, 3 health. Of course, it's not going to explain that to me. Item cards. Oh, actually, it might be on the back of the card. It might be on the back of the token. Recovers 4 Vita. Vita is our life in this game. It's pronounced the same way, if you remember, I think it's pronounced the same way as the PlayStation Vita, the handheld from back, the Sony handheld back from like 2009 to 2011 era. So that's Nyrissia. As for our other character, the other skills will probably make more sense. Actually, let's bring up the main ability. Let's bring up the main sheet here. She does have the psychic keyword, as we saw the quartz lantern required. Her special ability is psychic fortitude. You may resist being drained of power points. Treat situations as if you had 0 power points to lose. And then we've got a ghost side as well, but that'll come into play after Nyrissia, after either of our characters lose all of their Vita. As for the character that Nyrissia is going to be teamed up with tonight, and in this playthrough, we've got the Arcanist. The Arcanist we will be calling Elwina. The Arcanist seeks hidden knowledge and mastery in the secrets of the universe. She is a student of the ancient systems of numerology, and chakric mysticism. As a collector of lost knowledge, she has found an old parchment torn from the pages of a much larger book known as the Necronomicon. Ugh. Lovecraft vibes. The Arcanist seeks to find the remainder of this obscure text and explore the other dimensions of which it speaks. Be careful what you wish for. Her specialty is the Seeker. The Seeker has 2 auras and can use them as long as she has at least 1 unspent power point. These auras are represented by a double-sided token with a light and a dark side. Once per encounter, the Seeker may activate 1 of her auras. Each is Aura 1 and lasts for 4 rounds. The light aura is a circle of protection, giving her Absorption 1 and allies in the aura plus 5 defense. This does not stack with other absorption bonuses usable during a skirmish. The dark aura causes 1 damage to all foes that move into the aura on their turn. So there's got to be an aura card or an aura token in here somewhere. Let me see. What? Oh, actually, this might be it right here. So that on the light side, and like that on the dark side. We'll put that on light for the time being, since I don't know what I'm going to want with that. And as I mentioned, we are calling the... I'll just wait for OBS to reconnect, since it decided it wanted to be difficult. There we go. And when you're pronouncing Elwina, the I in L's name is long. I'll call her L for short. As for her starting abilities, we've got the Seek the Chakra. Deal an additional +2 damage on a successful melee hit, once per round, 1 power point. And Runic Dice. You sense the future and your destiny. Use when you draw an item card. Draw 2 and then choose 1 to keep and 1 to discard once per round, costs a power point. She's also got a ritual to start with. Her random ritual is Time Stop. You tamper with the flow of time, causing your enemies to slow to a standstill. All non-affliction foes in the combat lose their next turn. I believe the occult 9 is what we have to roll to trigger that. Passive or active, whereas active abilities do. Hold on. I need a ritual layout for that. Here we are. Skill check that must be passed to activate it. So she's got to pass an occult 9 check to activate Time Stop. She also starts with a bandage, and then she's got a weapon as well. She's got the Stiletto. Flank 1 +4 might, does d4 damage, one-handed, melee, and we can sell it for 10 coins. And her special ability is Resist the Change. You have created powerful wards against the dark magic afflicting the land. You can never be transformed. Well, that's good to know. She's got 21 Vita to start with. And I think on that note, we are all set. So, I'm going to be learning this game as I go. So let's jump in. With everything changes. I'm not going to hold the book up to the camera as Jester stops by. Evening, Jester. So we're starting off with the Arrival. You have traveled far, entering a territory of mountains and hills, forests and ancient paths. As you near your destination, an oppressive veil descends as the sky becomes dim. The stagecoach you hired approaches an old stone building with a belfry and enormous arched wooden front doors, whose scrollwork tells tales of horror and redemption. The coach rolls to a stop and you exit to stand before the Church of the Crossroads. The church is an age-old monument and gateway to this ancient mountainous territory. As you near the wooden doors to head inside, you hear the sounds of a struggle from within. Entering the church, you see an old curator cowering at the hands of the highwaymen. The highwaymen are ragged and filthy. With the dangerous edge of the desperate, they demand food and valuables. Oh joy. So we've got a skill check that we have to roll here. Rule check, skill check box on... Good thing I didn't say the Rays gave up 5 home runs to Baltimore and forgot how to pitch. Oh, did the Rays manage to finish the game, or was that what ended up happening? Because I've had some, you know as well as I do, I've had some crazy games of baseball, whether inside pitch or other systems on the channel. But I'm curious if that's what ended up happening. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised, but I do know the 2008 Rays did make the World Series. Anywho, coming back to this, at this point the group has to make a skill check. So in this case, one character may try to pass a speech 8 check. So the way we do that is roll a d10 and add any bonus under the speech skill shown on that character's card. If the result is an 8 or higher, they have succeeded and chased the highwaymen away. If they fail, we have to skirmish. And at 11-2, 5 home runs. Well, sorry to hear that, Jester. I assume you were pulling for the Rays in that one. Okay, so does anybody have any kind of speech bonus? No. So I guess thematically, with the lore I've got with the names of these two characters, both of these characters are very much attack first, talk later. Unfortunately, they're going to have to try to use their big girl words in this case, so I guess I'll have Nyrisia try to make the check, even though neither one has any bonus. So we're going to get a D10 for this speech check. So it's basically going to be a straight roll. So we're hoping for that's a 5, so we definitely don't pass, which means we have to fight a skirmish with the highwaymen. So I'm going to see if I've got the highwaymen card here. Right here. Okay, so this is the skirmish side that we're going to be fighting against for the highwaymen. Their skirmish power is to lose 1d4 Vita. If the total attack roll of the highwaymen is 85 plus, they cause plus 2 damage. Okay, so we need one of these. We need a block for Nyrisia's Quartz Lantern, and a block for the highwaymen. We're going to need to find out how many that we have here. So I'm just going to go through a tutorial on that. Skirmish is on page 18. Okay, so first we need to determine the strength of the highwaymen. So for a 2-character game, we are going to be rolling a d4 for their strength. That's what we've got over here on the left-hand side. So need a d4 as we established. So on I believe that's actually a 1. That's the number on the bottom. So we only have 1 highwayman. So minus 1 damage and minus 5 might. Place a marker on the skirmish counter. All characters must decide whether to attack or defend. So I think they're both going to attack. That's what these markers are for. We can go attack or defend. As you see, we get plus 10 defense, but we roll minus 10 might. So they both are going to attack, especially Elwina with a stiletto. So the controller rolls the creature's attack dice and applies any modifiers. So the attack dice, so the attack dice, we're rolling against their defense, I believe. So yeah. if it's equal to or greater than the character's defense. So Elwina's got a defense of 37. Nyrissia's got a defense of 38. That is a 61, so they both are going to get hit for D4 Vita. Fortunately, we only have actually, that's a -5 might, so 56 still would have hit them. So they're both losing a D4 Vita. They're both losing 3 Vita. Vita being your health in this case. So Nyrissia down to 19. And Elwina is going to be down to 18 Vita. Okay. So now would be affected by the skirmish power, which we did that. Characters then roll their attack dice simultaneously. So we'll have Elwina roll with her stiletto. She gets a +4 might. And their defense is a 42. So she's got +7 might, +3 as a base modifier, and +4 from the stiletto. Which a 17 won't hit. Nyrissia will do a... she didn't actually equip her quartz lantern. We'll pretend she did. We'll pretend she equipped that, so she will attack with it. That's a 72, so Nyrissia will hit with it. And I believe it's on a successful hit. On the number of successful attacks. Okay, so skirmish is actually over since we reduced since they only had 1 anyway, and on a skirmish, each successful hit reduces the counter by 1. So that's all handled there. And we get loot. So receive the reward listed on the skirmish card, which that is 4 coins, right? Yes. So both of our ladies are going to pick up 4 coins. And then we roll for loot. So all characters receive the reward and can perform a search for each unique creature. So Nyrissia will roll, we'll roll black for Nyrissia, red for Elwina. And we want to see 10s on them. Which Nyrissia will just miss it, but Elwina will find something. So Nyrissia almost found something, but Elwina did. So Elwina will find a Spartan helmet. +4 defense, adjacent allies gain +3 might, reroll false, and that's an armor. That's a head item, can sell it for 45 coins. So Elwina will get that. Okay. So, right. Okay, the curator thanks you for driving the brigands away and for saving the church from being burglarized. He explains that this area has begun to attract an unsavory element, but that there are calamities far worse to the north. He says, the priest received this warning a few days ago. He left immediately to investigate. Without warning, he lifted a covering from the table, revealing a bloody mass of fur and flesh. And we both have a nerve 4 that we have to pass. I don't think either one of our ladies had any kind of bonus to nerve. Oh, Elwina does have a bonus of +1, so we'll roll these same 2 dice. Black for Nyrissia, red for Elwina. El gets a +1. And yowza, Nyrissia will fail hers. El will just barely pass hers. So Elwina steadies herself against the revolting sight because she becomes centered and recovers 1 Vita. So one of the Vita that she took in damage, she will recover. Nyrissia, however, will lose an additional Vita from what they took on the encounter. Alright. After recovering from the shock of such a disgusting sight, you examine it more closely. It seems unnatural. The curator explains, wolves have been seen devouring people in the north. A group of Ostelink hunters tracked this one down, but no matter how many arrows and spear tips pierced its flesh, it would not stop moving. They brought it to the alchemist first, believing it was bewitched by some evil curse. Its form shifted and changed periodically in startling phases. It only stopped after that stone was removed from its stomach. He points to a small pebble encased in glass on a pedestal near the table. Neither the priest nor alchemist know what it is, but they fear it is related to the source of the trouble in the north. Go to Ostalink and seek out the priest, and seek out the missing priest, and inquire of the people where they found this creature. It is of dire importance that you find the wolf beast's lair. Here are a few coins to help you with your journey. You are welcome to rummage through our cellar and see if you can find something useful to take with you. Return with news when you have found our priest. And each character will receive 1 coin from the curator, so they'll both go up to 5 coins. Just going to change that out here. 5 coins, and then we'll draw 2 cards. We'll draw 2 item cards to find out what we've discovered in the church's cellar, and I can decide how I want to assign these. So first item that we find here is garlic. Gain plus 10 defense, I should say, against vampires and Nekiratu for 1 combat. And a femur. Plus 5 might, plus 1 d4 versus undead creatures. Does d4 damage one-handed, melee, and sells for 35 coins. Given that I need to get Nyrisia another weapon, I'll give her the femur and we'll equip it, and then Alwina will take the garlic. Actually, Alwina is going to equip the Spartan helmet as well. Okay, so now our goal. Outside, you board the waiting stagecoach, which hastens your journey to the village of Ostalink. On the world map, our goal is to travel to Ostalink. So basically our goal, let me see if I can zoom in here on the map. So we're down here. Our goal is to get up here to Ostalink. So that's our goal here. Leadership should now switch to character 2. So Alwina will zoom back out for a second here. So now our leadership token has actually got 2 sides on it. There's a day side and a night side. We're passing it over to Alwina with the day side facing. So now we've got world map movement coming in here. Right here, okay. So now we want to travel. They may move via the relative safety of the road. Can travel, move up to their stride value, which is found on their character card. And in this case, I believe we had a +1 stride for the stagecoach. Elwina's got a stride value of 4, which is +1, and I think for now, we are going to stay on the road. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That maxes out Elwina's stride, which means now we need to get a road event, and this will be a daytime road event. That'll make more sense when we actually get the road event card out. So we've got the road events. I shuffled these when I set up last night, but just to show you guys I'm not up to any funny business here on the channel, I'll give it another quick shuffle. I think we'll give it one more shuffle. And a cut. And here's our road event. Our road event. This is where it makes this is where it's going to make more sense. We've got day road events and night road events. Our day road event in this case is Calamity. The flooding darkness overwhelmed the morale of the land's inhabitants, causing them to retreat to the safety of their homes. Town services are not available in any town until the start of the next chapter, except for the physician and the gypsy encampment. That will stay in play. And then leader will pass back over to Nyrisia, this time with the night side showing. I'm going to take a quick drink of my Crystal Light. Okay. All right. So Nyrisia is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll get us into Wayland Point. Now, once we... No event card is drawn and the day-night cycle is reset to day. Okay, so we've done that. You may purchase goods and services by referring to the location reference card, which I, of course, which is probably actually in here somewhere. Yes. So we've got our adventuring, skirmishing. Okay, here we go. So Ostelink, we've got an option of 1 service per visit. So these are the town services that we have available to us, except we have nothing available except the physician and the gypsy encampment. The gypsy encampment is a breath of life. Draw a tarot card to return a character in limbo with full Vita and power points, or 30 lore. Evil be gone, cure lycanthropy, or transformed statuses. Gypsy encampment, another status for 5 coins. Fortune, we can roll a d10 once per visit. On a 1, we're cursed. 2 to 5, -5 defense for 1 chapter. 6 to 9, +5 defense for a chapter. 10, we're favored. I think we're going to pass on that, though, since we only have the 5 coins right now. Alright, so since the... So I believe the events trigger... Does that trigger? Yeah, that triggers once we get to... That'll trigger once we get to Ostelink. So now we need to keep moving again. And I do want to stay on... I think I want to stay on the road here. So we're going to go... So that reset back to day we established. So we can't do anything in Wayland Point right now. I'm going to go... Nyrisia's got a stride of 4 as well. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since our goal is all the way up here. We'll get another day road event. Wise one. We came upon an old wise man who had become a master of many arts in his long years. He taught me a bit of ancient lore. If the leader gains 1 ability point, if a character receives this card more than once in their life, immediately discard it and draw again. Ooh, an ability point. Let me see what ability points are. That sounds like it could be very, very good, though. Let's see, AP. Ability point. Each character begins the game with 2 abilities, yada yada yada. Every time you use an active ability, this is the awarded number of ability points you receive for reaching the tier. That's not... Okay, so that's the number of ability points. Ability cards on page 8 for details on how to spend ability points to gain new abilities. Okay. Let's see, ability card back. Starting character. Use it any time. That's not... Ability cost only determines how many ability points are needed to learn them. So it looks like something we can use to learn a new ability. See, ability cards on page 8 for details on how to spend ability points to gain new abilities. List also at least 1 keyword. Let's see. So the PowerPoint cost is how many... So we have 1 ability point for Nyrisia, which looks like we can spend it to learn a new ability. At least if I'm understanding that correctly. This rulebook is not the best thing in the world. The question is, do I want to spend it to try to learn something new? I'll have a look through the abilities later, see if I want to do that. So that's Nyrisia getting an ability point, which means now this will... Now the Leader token will come back to Elwina on the night side, since now we're traveling at night. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still in the coach. And now we'll get a nighttime road event. So for a nighttime road event, Elwina will draw. Hunters, okay. 2 hunters emerged from the countryside, dragging deer carcasses. They needed help getting their kills back to town. The group may take them as mission companions. Each fills a companion slot, and bring them to a town to gain 15 coins each. Well, we are going to do that. So we'll take them as a companion, which means we're going right into Yoratrusk, which is the next town right up here. That will pass to Nyrisia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another daytime road event. Nyrisia will find Wanderers. A band of angry townsfolk approached. They appeared to have narrowly escaped death. We offered our assistance. The leader may pass Speech 5 to take them as a mission companion. Escort them to any town to gain 10 coins. Failure caused them to run off in terror. Well, unfortunately, Nyrisia has got no speech bonuses. This is going to be a straight roll, a straight 5. Which we don't get, so the Wanderers run off in terror. Then we'll pass the leader token back over to Elwina. 2, 3 into Yoratrusk. And now the Hunters goes off, so each of our ladies will gain 15 coins. Will gain another 15 coins. So the group of heroes pays off. And quite literally pays off. As now both of us are up to 20 coins. But because of the story, there was an event that we had earlier, which was Calamity, except for the Physician and Gypsy encampment. So once again, we're going to pass on using our town services, and then this comes back to Nyrisia reset. Once again, our goal is up here in Ostelink. So we're going to go we're going to stick to the road. 2, 3, 4, 5. Another daytime road event coming up. Assault. A group of highwaymen were assaulting several defenseless villagers. Any one character must pass Speech 6 to convince the bandits to leave and become respected. Otherwise, the group must skirmish with the highwaymen. Well, we skirmished with them earlier. This time for giggles, we'll have Elwina try her luck. It's a Speech 6. And we think we had a Speech 9 earlier that... Yeah, it was a Speech 8 that we flunked earlier, so let's see if L has any better luck. L does have better luck. That's a 7. So that means she causes them to leave and become respected. So let's see if I can find a respected status in here. Question is, are all the status markers... Question is, are all the status tokens in one place? They might very well be. Let's see. Wanted, infected. Corrosive. More infected. Wanted, which means we wouldn't be able to use town services. Okay, they're not there. Question is it a status effect? It's probably a status effect for us if I had to take a wild guess. 21 and 36. Okay, so it looks like respected. We've proven our willingness to stand up for the downtrodden of the land. That's L. She gains +1 speech and +1 trickery. So it looks like square tokens. Those are boons. Okay. So I'm just going to make a note on L's character sheet, that she is respected. Oh, look at that. There's a check mark for it on here because L passed the check with the highwaymen. Speaking of Elle, she'll be the leader again. You're surprised that since I like this game, I don't own Runebound. You figured I'd really like Runebound. Well, the thing is, Jester, I don't know if I like this one or not yet. This is one that my recommendation engine on ChatGPT recommended, so I'm giving it a go. I initially bounced off of it, but I'm giving it another look here now that I'm further into now that I've got a little more experience in the tabletop gaming hobby and know I really like my narrative-based games. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Elle, so that'll give us another nighttime road event. Let's see what we find here. Moonlight. The moon, although not full, shone brightly in the sky, illuminating our surroundings and filling us with confidence. Gain plus 10 might during skirmishes on the world map until the start of the next chapter. Okay, that could be useful. And then passing over daytime to Nyrisia, we'll go 1, 2, 3 into Ostelink. We have an opportunity to use town services, but of course the physician and gypsy caravan, well, they were already the only ones available anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So now we're in Ostelink, we've got more story. In Ostelink, the streets are deserted with the exception of an occasional townsperson hurrying home or a drunk vagabond asleep in the alley. The few villagers you see, scurrying on their way, pause only to regard you with cautious stares. You raise your arm and call out a friendly greeting, time and again with only quickly averted eyes as a response. You raise your arm and call out a friendly greeting. Well, we just did that. It does not take much to sense that something is wrong. Yeah, I kind of gathered that. You catch sight of a street urchin eyeing you from a side alley. Unlike the rest, it seems her curiosity is winning over her caution. You wave her over and she hesitantly approaches. When you ask her about the town and why everyone seems afraid, she looks nervous and says, "Many people are worried because of the strange things that are happening. It is worse in the countryside and a lot of the farm folk have come into town. The inn is completely sold out." You ask the girl what she knows about the wolves and the priest. For a moment she feigns ignorance, but after a bribe of food, she tells you about the many recent wolf sightings. She warns that some have claimed the wolves seem to change in the moonlight, almost like werewolves. With a full mouth, the urchin says she knows nothing of a visiting priest, but that you might be able to find out more answers at the inn. And now we've got to choose your path. So we give the urchin some spare change. One character may give the street urchin a coin, if you have one. The character to do so must read Story Moment 25, or if we decide to be uncharitable, we read Story Moment 70. Well, these two tend to be ladies of the dark, but we're going to pretend that they have redeeming qualities, and we're going to have Nyrisia spend a coin to go to 19. Odds, well, we had a bunch of coins coming into town after saving those hunters, so Story Moment 25 on page 46. Story Moment 25. Here we are. Okay. As thanks, you toss a coin to the filthy child who catches it midair and makes the shiny disappear quick as a blink. She turns to go, but then pauses to say, "I know one more thing. The wolves like to hide in tall grass, ambushing their prey. Be careful." Gain the blue story marker. Story markers are awards that can either cause a positive or negative event later in the story, but players will not know which is the case until it's revealed. Don't read ahead in the story. A story marker can't be given to another character. Once the story is completed, all story markers are discarded. Evening, Troy. You were stopping in as I was going through the story text. Let's see. So, which is the story marker? Let's see. Story markers. Oh, looks like the books, which are hiding right in here. So we give Nyrisia the blue story marker. Okay, so we've got that all handled. True to the urchin's word, the inn is bursting with people and heated conversation. Most of the patrons look to be farmers, with the occasional merchant in the crowd. The room goes quiet as you enter, and you sense that you are not welcome. The innkeeper speaks. What is your business here? You tell the crowd that you were looking for information, specifically about the missing priest and the strange wolves that have been giving the town trouble. The innkeeper growls. We don't know anything about a priest, and we can take care of a few wolves without any help from the likes of you. His words are fierce, but you notice several of the patrons look uncertain. Ignoring the others' uncertainty, he continues, We have no rooms here. You can have a drink, but afterwards, I suggest you move on. And we've got a skill check coming up at Trickery 7 Trickery 7 for a random character. As you stick around, attempting to gather any information from the crowd, it is apparent that not everyone is happy with you being there. A bottle flies through the air right at you. Neither of our characters has trickery, so it's not going to matter who makes the check. So we'll roll a d6 to determine that. Odds Nyrissia will make the check. Evens Elwina will make the check, and the d10 will be for the result of the check. Alright, Evens Elwina is making the check, and she passes. So, success, you deftly dodge the incoming projectile. The bottle shatters against the wall behind you. Luck seems to be with you. Gain +1 on your next search roll. Nicely done, Elle. So +1 on next search. Okay, we've got another choose your path. The assault by the crowd has upset you. They're gaining confidence having made the first move. They're now getting ready for a good old-fashioned bar fight. If you decide to calm down the crowd to prevent the crowd from getting hurt, we read story moment 37. If you decide to teach these peasants a lesson for being uncooperative, read story moment 58. Well, here's the thing. We definitely saw that some people were uncertain. So I have a feeling they're more lashing out in fear than in genuine anger. So I think we're going to try to calm the crowd down. So story moment 37. We need to calm this angry mob. Choose a character to make a speech 8 check. If a character was hit by the bottle, you receive a -1 penalty because the crowd has gained confidence. Well, Elle wasn't hit by the crowd, so I think I'll have Nyrissia make the check this time. What did we say? Speech 8. That is an 8, so equal to or greater, I believe, said we pass the check, so we do. We calm the inn patrons and become respected as a result. So both of our ladies are now respected. So nicely done, both of you. The tension leaves as quickly as it escalated. These villagers are scared, like I thought. It explains their short fuse, but what is more surprising is how defeated they seem once they've calmed down. It's as if they believe no amount of fighting will help. After peace is restored, a farmer approaches you nervously and says, Your priest passed through my land inquiring about the way to Nurian's Hollow. I told him of a shortcut I know. A day later, crazed wolves came down out of those hills, devouring my livestock and attacking my family. We ran here to Ostelink to find help, but if everyone's too scared to leave town, if you agree to destroy these wolves, I will tell you of the shortcut. Okay, so we've got a story tutorial. Choose your path will lead your group down alternate paths. One will lead directly to an encounter, while the other will have other consequences. Okay, characters enter adventuring mode. Set up the map by placing the map shown. Okay, begin in the start zone and eventually via the exit zone. Okay. So, yeah. So we've got another choose your path coming up. Can we spare the time to help? Choice 1, we decide that we can't spare the time to help him with his woes. Or we decide to help the farmer with his troubles. I think we're going to help the farmer with his troubles, actually. He volunteered some information about us. So I figure if we've got a shortcut that we can potentially get, that sounds like a good deal to me. So we will help him out. So that's story moment 46. You realize how much courage it took for this man to approach and ask for help. He was obviously nervous, but overcame his fear. It shouldn't take too much time to deal with a few wolves, and the farmer promised to tell you of a shortcut which will hopefully make up for time lost. Skip to the farm on page 6. That's choice 2. Alright, the farm. The farmer leads you out of town and points in the direction of his fields. There is my land. I ask you kindly to destroy these wolves. It is dusk when you reach the farm. The moon hides itself behind a thick layer of clouds, but the stars are bright, allowing you to see well enough. The quiet atmosphere changes as you hear soft growls. Rabid wolves emerge from their hiding places among the tall grass, sniffing the air, their eyes almost seeming to glow. Our primary goal is to defeat the rabid wolves. See the encounter dialogue box. Don't forget to search the bodies for loot. Each character rolls a d10 and those getting 10 plus yada yada yada. After the combat, immediately read after the fight on page 7. Alright, then optional goals, investigate all search locations. Available only during combat. We'll get to that when we get there later. And then we've got a Scarecrow map feature. That's a skill check. We'll get into that later. Right now I need to set up. So we need farm tile FC01A, which, look at that, is the one right on top. So that makes my life hella easy. And would you look at that? It's even labeled farm in the upper left-hand corner, as if the FC01A wasn't even more of a giveaway. Okay, we'll see if we can zoom... Yeah, we'll see if we can zoom in a little bit on this. There we are. I just didn't want to lose the tower. Okay, so I'm going to set us up in the start zone. We start down here in the lower left corner. So I'm going to put Elwina right there, Nyrissia over here. Then we'll get 3 rabid wolves and a stickman, which is our scarecrow. So rabid wolf 1. We need 3 of these blasted things. So bear with me a second. Let's see, we need 3. 3 rabid wolves. That was easy. Yes, Jester, we are helping the farmers. So you go here. Another one goes right here. And the third one goes night move from the second one right here. Then we need the stickman, aka the scarecrow, which is going to probably get a different one of these standees to represent it. Actually, no, it's not. We've got one in here to represent the stickman. If I can ever get it out of the baggie. There we are. It was getting stuck for a second in there. That goes... Knights move up and the rabid wolf out here. Okay, so now we need to get the... Let's put the highwaymen back in their spot in alphabetical order. Pull the angry mob down here, and we need to get the Rabid Wolf, here we go. Alright, so with 2 characters, we're going to have, each wolf is going to have 13 Vita for the wolves. Powers 1 to 4 is a takedown. Wolf leaps at you and swings its clawed paw. Lose 3 Vita and get pushed 1. Wolf's jaws rip at your hamstring. Lose a d4 plus 1 Vita and become immobilized 5. Or 8 to 10. Vicious bite. Your flesh is torn by a mouth foaming with blood and pus. Lose 4 Vita and become sickened 4. Defense is 41. Stride 5. And a special power. If the vicious bite attack has a power die of 0, the chance to become sick changes to sickened 8. Yikes. Okay, so we've got that there. I think that's everything, and we've got everything set up. And a character with a blue story marker, which you might guarantee was Nyrisia from giving the urchin the coin earlier. The character with the blue story marker gets a +5 might for this combat due to the urchin's warning. So that is very helpful. So apparently it pays to have redeeming qualities. Who knew? Anywho, we're going to be getting set for a full combat here momentarily. Okay. So bag that up. And now we're getting ready for a combat. So we've got everything set. To determine who acts first, we have to perform first strike. So each of us is going to roll a d10. Black for the characters, red for the wolves. Whoever goes higher roll wins. Tie goes to us. And they win. That's unfortunate. Unfortunately, this is not a skirmish, so we don't get the +10 might from the moonlight that we had. Okay. Completes their full range of actions. Okay, controller moves each creature if necessary, so we'll start off with the... Okay, yeah, so they're all the same. Okay, so we're going to start off with all of the wolves. They've got a stride of 5, as we mentioned. So this wolf is going to move, I believe diagonal movement is a thing as well. Let me go see if there's a combat tutorial. There should be. Adventuring Encounters. And the first strike, which we got that. Characters may move through. Okay. I just need to find out about movement. So, predictably, the wolves are all melee foes. Use a targeting die to determine which they attack. And we haven't established yet if foes follow the same... Okay, let's look here. So we move through characters... Same as move is during an adventuring turn, so 22. This still isn't explaining... Oh, move. Here we go. Moving diagonally only costs 1 stride as long as the connecting corners are not blocked. So we can move orthogonally or diagonally. So we're going to start with the closest wolf, and this wolf can get to Elwina. So 1, 2, 3. And then it will roll its attack. L's defense is a 37. Which that's a 72, so the wolf will hit L. Actually, I could add the red die in here for power. So that's a 5, which will trigger a hamstring. The wolf's jaws rip at your hamstring, lose a d4 plus 1 Vita, and become immobilized 5. So presumably, we now can't move. Let's see, immobilized says resist trickery. So forces around you prohibit movement. Pass ecology 5, or your stride becomes 0. Okay, so immobilized 5, we need to roll a Oh, we need to figure out the Vita loss. That is going to be 4 plus 1 is 5 Vita for L. Ouch. I just had my pencil in my hand. So L takes 5 Vita, goes down to 14. And now she's got to roll a 5 plus. So now she's got to roll a trickery. She's got to roll above a 5 on a trickery check or she's immobilized. And she's got no bonus on this. That's a 9, so L is fine. Let's see, Rabid Wolf. Could get to L. Could get to either one of them. So we're going to toss in... Which die do we want? I think we're going to use a D6 as a targeting die. And we'll roll a D percentile in black once it decides to focus for the attack. Red die for the power. And then I forgot to denote the odds, the roll. We'll say odds it's going after L again. So this time it's going after Nyrissia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attack roll of a 27, which means the vicious bite, fortunately for us, missed. This rabid wolf is trying to get to L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't get there. So now it's our turn. And L is going to use her stiletto to go after this wolf that just attacked her. So the wolf has got a defense of 41, but we've got a she's got a +3 might on the roll, actually +7 total because of the stiletto. So 7 plus 23 is 30, that won't hit. And then Nyrissia, yikes, Nyrissia is in a very bad way. Actually, Nyrissia has got a wolf on her. So she is going to go with spending 2 power. Push 2 actually, does that even really do any good here? I think we're going to go with a Psychic Implosion. So she's going to use that ability. Once I find my pencil again, she's going to spend a power point to trigger her Psychic Implosion, triggering an ability. Let's see, move, act, can be any one of the following, okay? You can use one of their abilities, which we're going to do. So we spend the... Right. So we spend the ability point. We don't have to roll a check of any kind to use that, do we? Active ability, as long as you have the power points available. Okay, so... Yeah, so we are using the... Looks like it just says crush the brain matter of a foe, inflict 1d4 damage and force them to lose a turn on a d6 6+. Okay, so we are going to use that. Looks like we just inflict 1d4 damage on this wolf, and we cause it to lose a turn on a 6+. Doesn't look like there's any kind of keyword modifier with that. So she's got 5 power. Alright, so she's going to inflict 1 damage to this wolf. So that one will go, Okay, here's how we're going to do that. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to go wolf 1, wolf 2, wolf 3. I'm going to grab some dice out. We'll call that wolf 1, wolf 2, and wolf 3. So wolf 3 just took 1 damage to go down to 12. But more importantly, its next turn is skipped. Okay. Next turn is skipped. So that brings us back to a new round, which means we'll have Wolf 1. I'm going to assume attacking is diagonal as well. So this should be Wolf 2. I'm going to assume attacking is diagonal as well. So Wolf 1 will move down and attack Elwina. Which that's a 30, so L won't get hit this time. Actually, L, I think we established on an attack. I believe it was greater she got hit. You just double check that. If there's an attack, add the might. If the target is greater than, if the roll is greater than or equal to. So yeah, actually it doesn't get. So actually L gets, so actually the first wolf misses L with another hamstring. Second one is also going after L. That one will hit L with a hamstring, so she'll lose another D4 Vita. So that's another hamstring, and L will have to take another trickery test. Another trickery 5. Which she will pass that again, but she'll lose another 3 Vita. She's going to go down to 11. And then Wolf 3's turn ended up skipped, so a very fortunate... Oh, actually, Seek the Chakra. I'm trying to think if... Did L... No, L didn't hit. Didn't hit on her attack. Nyrisia did. So... Yeah, so I think we're going to have L try to work on some of these wolves. She's going to... Let's see, they've got a stride of 5, so trying to get away from them isn't going to do much here anyway. She's going to attack Wolf 2. Once again with a defense of a 41. That's a 9, so L misses again. L's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to try to create some breathing room. Yikes, actually that might have been a bad plan, because now they're going to be coming after Nyrisia. Actually, Nyrisia is going to try to push... Actually, Nyrisia is going to try to push... No, she's going to go with a... She's going to use her femur, actually, to attack this rabid wolf right here. So she's got a +5 might, and a +3 is a total of a +8. And it does D4 damage, because of course it does. Alright, that's a 19, so Nyrisia also misses. Wow, we've got terrible rolls tonight. But unfortunately, this plan kind of blew up in my face, because now all 3 wolves are coming after Nyrisia. So a 1 for Rabid Wolf 1. It's going after Nyrisia. That's a 62, so Nyrisia is getting hit with a hamstring for a D4 +1 Vita. That is 4 Vita down for Nyrisia, and she's got to pass a Trickery 5 check. So Nyrisia at 13 Vita. And she's got to pass a Trickery 5 with no bonuses to that, of course. And Nyrisia is immobilized. That's wonderful. Here we go. Okay, so Wolf 2. Yeah, Nyrisia is very much surrounded here. This kind of blew up in my face more than a little bit. Use one less power point when using Psychokinesis. We may need to start pushing these guys away. 47, Nyrisia will get hit again. 3 this time is a takedown. Lose 3 Vita and get pushed 1. So Nyrisia is going to get pushed 1 space away. So Nyrisia is going to get pushed there. Wolf 3 coming in, and now Nyrisia is surrounded with the edge of the map. This is bad. Nyrisia is getting hit again with a hamstring this time. She was already immobilized. This is problematic. So 4 plus 1 is 5 damage, and she's, as if she didn't have enough problems, she's now double immobilized. Alright, so first order of business, Nyrisia's got to push one of these wolves away. So she's going to spend 2 power points to use her psychokinesis to push 4 on Wolf 3. Come on. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's going to end up next to Elwina, which means Elle can at least do something about these. Can she also attack? I would hope so. Actually, Nyrisia's got to pass a... Nyrisia's got a minus 10 might, so that's going to be a problem. Let's see. Full encounter. Maybe taken once per turn in any order. Okay, so that was a push. Act, which we used in a... Oh, so that's an ability, so we could use that. So she will... She's going to try to attack again. She's going to use her lamp to attack. Alright, so I think you were there. She's going to use her lamp to attack Wolf 1. A 90, that'll hit for a D4 damage. 1 damage on Wolf 1. That's delightful. And then Nyrisia is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to try to create some breathing room. As for Elwina, she's going to step in front of Wolf 3, and actually now Elle is the one who's going to be surrounded. Actually, so how would we have wanted to do this? We might have wanted to do this a little bit differently. Yeah, this is probably fine. So Elle is going to start off by attacking Wolf 3 with her stiletto, which is 75 will hit for D4 damage. One damage on Wolf 3, which is not even worth spending. So that brings Wolf 3 down to 11 health. So that was an attack. Is she going to stay close? Actually, she's going to try to trigger her ritual. All non-affliction foes lose their next turn. That's an occult 9 she's got to pass. Fortunately, she does have a +2 bonus to her occult. So if we can skip a turn, that would be... If we can skip their next turn, that would be phenomenal. That's a 7 + 2 is 9. We pass the check, which means all of the wolves lose their next turn. So that, I believe, exhausts that. Actually, we attacked, which means we couldn't have used the ritual. But using the ritual, I believe means... So how does the ritual exhaust? That's my other question. Let's see. Alright, so ritual. Make an occult check. Once it is successfully performed, it's discarded. Okay, so during combat, it takes an act, meaning they can't attack and use their mystical knowledge in the same. So it looks like a one-off thing, which means now the turn is over, and we're back to the wolves. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so on the D6, odds it's going after Nyrisia, evens it's going after Elwina. Alright, odds it's going after Nyrisia. So 1, 2, 3. Then that's a 36, which is just barely above. Actually, L at a +2 damage bonus. That's another. That should have been another 4 damage on the 2 attacks to Wolf 3. So that's down to actually 5 more damage because Nyrisia used a Psychic Implosion, so Wolf 3 should be at 6 health, at 6 Vita, actually. And we established 36 is just enough to not have Nyrisia get hit. Wolf 2 is definitely going after Elwina. And then Wolf 3 will be going after L as well. That's a 98. It is definitely getting hit on a Vicious Bite. L will lose 4 Vita, going down to 7. So both of our ladies are in a bad way here. And becomes sickened 4. She needs an ecology roll to resist this. So sickened 4. That's a 3, so L is sickened. Yuck, yuck, yuck. As if things couldn't go more sideways on us here. And of course, do I have a sickened status token in here? I looked, and I don't think I did. So no, I do have sickened marked off though. So that was from 2. 3 is also going after L. Which a 14 won't hit L, thankfully. Thank God for small mercies. Let's see, what do we want to do here? L is going to try to take out the... actually, I don't think she can afford to try to take him out, so she's going to have to use her bandages to recover 4 Vita. And then try to make tracks. So L is going to go up to 11 Vita. And then stride 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting together with Nyrisia, so the Spartan Helmet, which I have not been paying attention to, the Spartan Helmet gives adjacent allies +3 might. So Nyrisia is going to try to attack Wolf 1 with her... With an adjacent +3 might, she's going to use her femur to do that. So she's got +5 might, +3 is +8, and then L gives her another +3, so +11. That's a 56. That is enough to hit the wolf, which means she gets a D4 damage for Wolf 3 and a +1 on damage bonus. That's a 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, 2 damage. That is on Wolf 1. So Wolf 1 down to 10. We're finally making something resembling headway on this, but we've still got both of our ladies in a very bad way. So we're back to the wolf's turn again. Wolf 1. Odds going after Nyrisia, evens after L on the D6. Right, evens going after L. 74 will hit her. 3 is a takedown, so L will lose 3 Vita. Good thing she used her bandages. Down to 8. And she'll get pushed 1 in that direction. For wolf 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, wolf 2 can go after either character. Going after L again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 19 won't hit L this time, so again, small mercy. Wolf 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, could it get to L? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could get to either one of them, actually, from that space. Evens going after L again. That's wolf 3. 17 won't be enough to hit her, though, thankfully. Okay, so we've got a mess on our hands here. This well should have a search token as well, by the way. Let me grab that out. And looking at the length of this video, how long it's running, I don't think we're going to be doing... I don't think I'm going to be running Folklore Fridays on the channel. Let me look at some of the other scenarios in here. Of course, it's not going to specify the length of these. Actually, it looks like it's in stories. Well, we'll see what I think after this. But let's see. Oh, right, we've got a... What were we rolling for? I think we had... Let's see, we had... Okay, so it's actually back to our turn now. I'll talk a little bit more about my initial thoughts coming out of this, but I'm not... Oh, I was getting the search token out for the well. I'm not completely warm to what I'm thinking about doing with this game. L is going to try to take out Wolf 3. So she's got a, let's see, +3, +7 might. So yeah, +7 might. That's an 82, so that will hit the wolf. That'll hit Wolf 3. That's the one she was going for. For 4 damage, and once per round, L will use a power. She'll go down to 4 power. Actually, did she need to go down to 4 power? No, she didn't. Because she's got a +2 bonus already, so she doesn't need to use a power here. She will take Wolf 3. She'll take Wolf 3 out. So, very nicely done there, L. We needed that. Let's see, that'll go back in my standees bag. Then L is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to have her try to search this while combat is available to us. Or while we're still in combat. And then Nyrissia is going to... Let's see. So Wolf 3 has been defeated. Let me update that. Okay. Then what do I want Nyrissia to... Oh, I've got to declare what each of them are doing. I've been assuming attack this whole time. And L's aura, we left that on the light side. Circle of giving her absorption 1 and allies in the aura +5 defense. So that's... Actually, we didn't activate the aura yet. Which I think L will activate... Actually, L's going to activate her dark aura for 1 power point. So she's going to be down to 4. Okay, and then Nyrissia is going to do what? Yeah, Nyrissia is going to attack the is going to attack Wolf 1 using the femur. So +5 for a total of +8 might. Which a 56 will hit Wolf 1, and that will do 3 points of damage. So Wolf 1 down to 7. And then for an ability, she's going to use her psychokinesis and spend 2 power points to push 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So Nyrisia is down to 1 power. And then that is the end of the round. So we're back to the wolves again. Let's see, the wolf was here. 1, 2. Actually, I think this wolf was here. So he's going after Nyrisia, because Nyrisia is closer. And that won't hit Nyrisia, thankfully. 2, 3, 4. Actually, Wolf 1 can get to Nyrisia as well. He's going to move 5 spaces. And then he's going to make an attack on Nyrisia as well. This could be problematic. Actually, I need the D10. 14. Actually, Nyrisia doesn't get hit. Alright, so that brings us back to... Let's see, may interact. Okay, I think I will have Elle go ahead and interact with the... well, which is our search location. So she gets a... So that is a search, which means Elle does get +1 to the next search. So a D10 roll. That's a natural 10 +1 is 11, so Elle will find an item. She's just going to draw. She will draw. Pure Salt. Remove the cursed status or gain immunity to corrosion tokens for 1 encounter. La di flippin' da. Let's see. Then Elle can still move, I believe, right? Yes, Elle can move. She's got a stride of 5. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have her... well, actually, if we're up here, do I want to try to draw one of these wolves off? I think I probably should try to draw a wolf off. So we'll go 1, 2, 3... Actually, 4... Actually, even if we try to move a wolf off, they're both already adjacent to Nyrisia, so they're both going after Nyrisia. Which means Nyrisia is probably not long for this world anyway. So I might as well have her come down here and try to search. This way... Actually, if Elle's here... Question is, do I sacrifice Nyrisia for the search? I might have to. Plus, Nyrisia will turn into a ghost, and I can always bring her back a little bit later. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Speaking of the wolves, they're up next. They're both attacking Nyrisia. We're probably going to have to push at least one of them away. Assuming Nyrisia survives the turn. Which, yikes. For Vita, she will not. Well, she might not. She's down to 1 right now. And she's got to resist a... Sickened means she's got to resist a... means she's got to make an ecology check. An ecology 8 check. If she's sickened, she does not. So Nyrisia is now sickened. Which means she'll be rolling 2 damage rolls and picking the worst of them. And then Wolf 1... is not going to hit Nyrisia, thankfully, but Nyrisia is not in a good way. And I actually have not been paying attention to the +5 might that Nyrisia has for having the blue story marker. So Nyrisia is going to switch into defense for this turn. She's going to spend her bandages as well to recover 4 Vita, so she's back up to 5 for all the good that's likely to do. Then she's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, trying to get over by L. And L is going to perform an ecology check over at that scarecrow. Which that's a 4, and L didn't have any kind of ecology bonus, so she fails. Which means we can't manage to get the scarecrow back in its post, falls atop during the attempt, and she loses a D4 Vita. Jeez. Well, fortunately, L's got 8 Vita. L's got 5 Vita, actually. So 5 Vita, and then she's got to act as a shield to try to draw at least one of these wolves away. She'll move 1, 2, and draw wolf 3, and try to draw wolf 3 away. At least. The problem is wolf 1 can still get after either one of them, so let's see which one it's going after. Why am I playing this with only 2 characters? Does the mission alter based on number of characters? So, it requires you to play, if you're playing solo, you have to play with a minimum of 2 characters. But what it does is it reduces the amount of Vita that each of the wolves has, depending on the number of characters that you have. At least I'm assuming that's each. That would be really annoying if this was total Vita. Because if this was total Vita, we probably would have been done with this encounter a while ago. Two creature affliction type. 7 combat type. Oh, that's what the counters are for. Scales to the difficulty being played. 1 for each creature encountered. Okay, so we do have 3 of them. As for the reason I'm playing with 2 characters, I'm doing this as a learning game to get the feel for what I think of this game. And one thing I don't like is how long it's taking. So let's see what Wolf 1 is doing. Odds is going after Nyrisia, evens is going after Elwina. Evens it's going after Elwina, and 87 is going to hit Elwina with a 3, and I brought it over here. That'll be a takedown. L will lose 3 Vita and get pushed 1. So L going down to 2 Vita and gets pushed. Which actually means Wolf 3 is definitely going after Elwina. So this plan very much blew up in my face. I won't need that. An 82, oh, wrong die. I did need the D10. An 82 will be enough to hit L with a 3. That's another takedown, so L will lose another 3 Vita, and she'll go into ghost points. So now I'll swap that out for L's ghost form, which means she's got the ethereal status. Delightful. Let's see, so 10 ghost points, which I assume those ghost points, so now I gotta see how that works. I assume ghost points are similar to their power points. Which acts in place of both Vita and power. Okay, so once their ghost points are depleted, the ghost is sent into limbo. Delightful. Remember, this game had a really great theme. Made a few missions and it was pretty good, but too much to handle, 5 characters, so I quit it. Well, file those comments away for a minute, Jester. We are going to come back to those. As for our Wolf 1, actually, we acted already. So Nyrisia is going to attack Wolf 1. with her femur. Actually, she's defending. So plus 10 defense, minus 10 might. Unfortunately, that was not enough to hit the wolf, hit Wolf 1. As for Elwina, what is Ghost... What is Wolf? That actually should be Wolf 2. Wolf 2 has 13 health left. So in all likelihood, I'm just going to tap out here, actually, because in all likelihood, what's going to happen here is Nyrisia is going to get taken out, go into ghost form, and then we're going to drain both of our ghost points trying to take these wolves out. So that's where we're going to call it a playthrough for Folklore the Affliction. And I'm starting to... So, I mentioned my thoughts about this game as I was getting the impressions of it. I think I'm starting to remember a little bit of why I bounced off of this game. There is a lot to manage here. I really like the theme of this, and I like the narrative-driven aspect of it. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just finding it to be a little bit too much for me to manage ultimately. So the plan I had with this game originally was I was going to start doing something I called Friday Folklore on the channel, where I played this game every Friday night. But there's too much going on here, and I can see when you start getting up in character counts, when you start getting up in your character counts, it's only going to get worse. So now I think I see why you quit it at 5. I definitely see why you quit it at 5 characters. It's turning out 2 is a little bit too much for me to even handle, which is a pity because, like I said, I really like the theme and I like the narrative-driven aspect of this game. But like I said, I just can't manage it. So yeah, I'm gonna end up bouncing off of this one for a second time. But that's the way it goes. Yes. You see a game that looks interesting, you pick it up, you try it out, then you realize either, yeah, I really like this one, or it's not for me. And this one is falling into the not for me category. So speaking of the potential for not for me games, where did my other ghost characters go? I didn't stack them in here, I don't think. No, and they weren't double-sided, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm starting to... you can probably tell I'm starting to clean up here. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. So this weekend, my plan is to do a bunch of I'm going to continue with sports stress testing. The sport that's up this time is actually professional wrestling. So I've got a few cards lined up for some of the wrestling games that I've gotten in. Oh, here they are. And we're going to try some of those out because I'm getting warm. Well, I'm starting to have some brainstorms about potentially running a wrestling federation on the channel, maybe as part of Wide World of Sports. But the problem is, for the work I know that's going to take, I want to do it right. So I'm going to stress test a few different wrestling engines. The 2 I'm going to stress test tomorrow are Legends of Wrestling by Phil Singer Games. I did get this one from you a while ago, Jester. I just haven't done anything with it yet. And I'm also going to stress test Face to the Mat Pro Wrestling by Play Games. So we're going to give both of those a whirl. As for what else is scheduled on the channel, Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook as we make the side hot rolls. Sunday morning, we're going back to the Eastern Front of World War II Europe as we play Ostkrieg by Compass Games. And Wednesday, we're playing G.I. Joe the Deck Building Game by Renegade Game Studios. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications to get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.